what is up, guys? This is Young Music Podcast. I'm Will.
I'm Sam.
That's it.
Alright, what's up, y'all? I'm Dylan.
Now we're gonna talk about 2020 music. So we've got a few albums listed out, and the first few is just gonna be like not quite as big albums, just like from artists that either we personally like or just
We're used to personally like.
or just we didn't listen to it as much as we listened to a lot of the other stuff later that we'll give a full review on. So we're gonna start with Shoreline Mafia. They dropped.
Oh yes.
They dropped
Party Pack 2.
Party Pack 2, and I think that perfectly describes it because we seem to all give it a 2 out of 10.
No, actually, I gave it a 3 out of 10.
Okay, so why did you give it a 3? Why do you think it's better than we do?
Okay. It's still trash, okay? But it's not as bad as their single they just put out.
We're gonna talk about that right after.
In my opinion, their new single, Gangstas and Sippers. That's what it.
So
it's so bad, bro. But let me go back to Party Pack 2 real quick. Let me pull it up real fast. I don't really remember the.
So while you're doing that,
I got it right here.
I would have to agree. Go ahead.
All right. So, I mean, there's like a couple songs that are all right. Wings is okay. Caribbean is trash. Like, worst bars I've ever. He says something about kicking it in the Caribbean with fishes and amphibians. It's just like, bro, calm down. And Fell in Love, basically just a crackhead song with him talking about how he loves the plug and stuff. And Mind Right is pretty good. It's all right. It's just none of it is like really that good.
Yeah.
Chandelier is probably my favorite song. It's decent, but it's surrounded by just trash. Like Half and Half is the only other one that is at least listenable. And then from that down there's three other songs that's just you don't want to listen. Like, trust me, you don't want to listen to it. Don't listen to the album. It's just crackheads talking about how much they love drugs, and it's they've dropped way better stuff. They fell off, like they're done.
Yeah, the only song I think I ever remember even listening to more than once was Wings, and that wasn't even that good of a song. Like, especially if we compare it to their older stuff.
It sounded weird, like that. Whatever that sound is at the beginning. You know what I'm talking about. So it's like almost like poppy. I don't know.
So if we compare it to their newest single, what was it? Gangstas and Sippers.
Gangstas and Sippers.
So instantly,
just go ahead and rank that.
I think that's the worst song title they could have come up with ever. And
really bad.
Yeah, it just had some like cringe bars in it, and I just think it was very mediocre. I think it was better than most, if not all, the stuff on Party Pack 2, but
no,
it was still bad.
It wasn't, bro. I was listening to Shoreline for a long time. Like I banged their stuff a lot. That song is terrible, in my opinion.
They're pretty close to each other. I wouldn't put it that much better or worse than.
I would slight the best songs on Party Pack 2. I would slightly put above Gangstas and Sippers.
All right, so Shoreline Mafia dropping Party Pack 2. You know, I was very hyped about Party Pack 2 coming out since Party Pack 1, which is so awesome. But after listening to Party Pack 2, it was like 3 in the morning in the middle of an airport. It was fucking terrible. Like, I'm sleeping on it. There is zero replay value for me. Maybe like the first week I listened to like a couple of the songs, but that was just Shoreline's biggest flop ever.
But yeah, we don't need to we don't need to keep talking about
All
them.
right,
They're done. They fell off. Like
yeah.
Dylan
So
might say otherwise, but he's
he's not
stupid.
here,
So
so
yeah.
um, Billie Eilish dropped an
Oh
album.
yes.
um,
Funny.
I don't remember. I don't even remember what the album was called.
When we all fall asleep, where do we go?
Okay, so yeah,
I know the name.
long album title. It was a good album. I didn't hate it. I'm really not bumping any of the songs, but it's also like not my style of music that I really listen to. But it was a decent album. Had some good highlights. The production was really good. The production's done by her brother, and I think he's really talented. So hope he does more stuff in the future. And
Yeah, when did you give it a number?
no, I did not. I'm gonna go with a 7, probably maybe a 7.5.
7. Okay. Well, what I have to say about it is it's a pretty great record when you consider how young she is and like how she's like really not released very much music. Like her albums before weren't really anything crazy. Like I don't know. She has kind of a stigma around her where it's like, oh, you're like depressed and like um
Not even
what
depressed,
her fan
fake
base is
depressed.
like, yeah, fake depressed stuff. She kind of is annoying how she talks about it so much, but we listen to Juice World, so we can't really talk about that. So
Juice World hits though.
yeah, I guess, bro. But her brother gets a lot of credit, man, for
Yeah.
the production on that because that he should be like that should almost be like a collab album,
When
like
that, yeah, because
him as the producer.
he's older than she is, but not by much. He was only 19 or 20 when that album came out.
I cannot imagine at my age producing something like that
Yeah.
because it does sound awesome.
Yeah, it was really good, especially for like, you expect that kind of stuff from like high end like Metro Boomin or like Benny Blanco,
Yeah.
like the biggest producers in the game. But for some like random kid to just be like putting that out is
Yeah.
really impressive.
I don't even know how he did it honestly because it's not even like rap production. Like it's almost like something new kind of sounding.
It was definitely
It's weird.
it was very alternative esque, like alternative rock, but like different.
Yeah, I mean it's almost a genre of its own, and like her voice is her voice is pretty unique. As in, like she sings very quietly and
Hmm.
like kind of like really softly. Yeah, I haven't really heard it too much. Somebody singing that quietly, so it's kind of unique in that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, her fan base is pretty annoying, so it stops me from really getting into the music that much. But and like you can't let people see that that's what you're listening to
Especially
on your
not
thing.
when you're 18, like in high
Yeah,
school, like
yeah,
you're gonna get
exactly.
clowned. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
So I gave it an 8.5 just because I mean, considering how young they are, that is insane, bro.
yeah, it was good.
But yeah,
So, next album, Bandana by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. Um, this was definitely a highlight of 2019. It
yeah,
actually
it was really good.
it took me a while to actually get to this album because there was a lot of stuff that came out. I forgot it dropped when it first dropped, and then when I got reminded of it, there was a bunch of stuff that had just come out. So it took me a while to get to it for the first time, but it is a very solid project. I can't wait to listen to it again because I spent this whole week listening to everything on this list. But I can't wait to go listen to it again. I give it an 8.5. Freddie Gibbs
Yeah.
is really good, and
Madlib is
Madlib,
the producer, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
Madlib is the producer, and he is like S tier producer. He's really good too. So
Yeah, it does sound really good. Um, I really liked the record. It's not so much like my style of rap, but I could get into it. Like, um, he's a super talented rapper. He's very like on beat and has a very like percussive flow, and I don't know, it just sounds super cool. The production is cool. I wasn't a huge fan of the vinyl crackle in some of the songs. It kind of annoyed me a little bit. I think that aesthetic isn't really as cool as a lot of people say it is. Like, all right, bro, it's not on vinyl. Like, you don't need to put vinyl crackle on there. But yeah, I mean that's like a small thing, but it just kind of annoyed me a little bit. Um, but yeah, it was. I really liked the Killer Mike feature. I don't remember
Hmm.
what song that was on, but he is. I really like Killer Mike from Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
Is my thing, bro. Like I've been standing them for a while. They actually have a new single from a while ago, from like
Yeah.
maybe
Came out a few months ago.
not even a month ago, a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Probably about a month ago. Yeah.
No, about a month ago. But yeah, that's pretty good.
So
But yeah, back to that. It kind of sounds like. Does he almost sound like Busta Rhymes to you?
a little bit. I can definitely see that.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
like I was like, dang, he almost kind of sounds like Busta Rhymes. But yeah, I don't know why I threw that in there, but he did sound like Busta Rhymes
so
to me. So, anyways, I gave it an 8. It's pretty solid.
so to talk a little bit more about like the related stuff to this album, Madlib and Freddie Gibbs actually have another album from a few years back that I would recommend checking out called Pinata, and that was also
Yeah,
very good. I think this one was a little better, but
they've got a good track record.
Pinata's still really good, and Freddie Gibbs is so funny. His
Is he?
Instagram is hilarious. He actually got banned from it. So yeah, now we're gonna talk about Anderson .Paak.
That pack.
Sam, if you want to go first.
Oh, okay. So it's Ventura, right?
Yeah.
It's Yeah, it was a pretty good album. It's not really my style of music. Like, I guess you would call it what, like soul or
R&B.
something like R&B. Yeah, I mean he's a good singer. It's definitely decent music. It's cool for what it is. Not really my style. I gave it a 7 for what it is. It's nothing really crazy to me. I definitely liked his previous album more. I forgot the name. Sorry. You probably know what it is, right, Will?
Who?
His
Sorry.
previous Anderson .Paak
Oh,
album, one before
Oxnard, I
Ventura.
think,
Yeah,
was the one
I
before it.
like that one better because it had some more like fire features and stuff.
I
But
liked
yeah,
Oxnard.
he's not. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely a good album in my opinion.
I felt the same. Um, I like Anderson .Paak. I really don't have much to say about this album. It was like a 7 or 8 for
Yeah,
me. Like,
it's like it's kind of hard to talk about because it's
It's
not.
just nothing special.
Not really that. It's just like I'm not super like read up on Anderson
yeah,
.Paak. Like I kind of just listened to it one time and I
I
was
see
like,
it
pretty
like
cool, but it ain't crazy. Like
other than like the couple songs I listen to from him and like what I see on Twitter, I don't really see much about Anderson .Paak. So
Never
yeah,
heard of him before.
so Dylan did not
I've
listen.
heard of him
Yeah,
before.
I'd heard of him.
Definitely, it's I saw
There was this
his
song.
ex what his feature on I forgot the name of the magazine. What is it?
Double XL.
Double XL. Yeah,
He was in
he
the
had a pretty
2016
bad
freshman class.
freestyle.
Yeah,
He
he's
had a
not really
pretty
a
bad
rapper
freestyle, but
though.
he's not a rapper, so it doesn't really make much sense for him to be on
um,
Double XL.
there's the song I heard. I forgot he was on Double XL, but the first song I heard from him that I liked was "Bubbling." Came out in 2017, I think. It's fire.
He's definitely
I
good.
still bump that song. So yeah, now we're gonna go on to a album
The best album.
with
Yes, probably album of the year.
a lot of mixed reviews. Some basically people either thought this album was like S tier or they thought it could just like go in the trash and burn in a dumpster fire.
I want to
Forever.
meet the people who said S tier.
So
Yeah.
I want to have
this
a chat
album,
with them.
this album is 1,000 gex by 100 gex. And
1,000 gex by 100 gex.
yes.
Wow.
So
Can't
this
wait for
was
2,000
not.
decks to come out.
Oh yes, I'm just waiting, bro. I'm just checking my watch every second.
So this was not a
I
big
don't watch
release.
all.
But I don't remember where I even heard about this album. but some people, for some reason, thought this album was like a 10. So I thought I would put it on here because I'd never listened to it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to put it on here just so I can listen to it and talk about it. And I thought it was, I mean, let's keep it 100. Like, it was not good music.
No way.
But it was,
Thank you.
oddly enough, it was just fun to listen to. Like, I found myself having fun just because of how, like, stupid it was.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's like laughing at
Yeah, how bad it was. But, like, that's why I gave it a 4. I just thought, like, the way they produced it, like, it would go from, like, them, like, rapping to, like, screamo metal, like,
And then to
instantly.
dub-
With dubstep.
Yeah. And it was just, like, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, so I was gonna say, like, just because it's different doesn't mean it's like a 10.
Yeah.
Like, it could be the most experimental album of all time.
Wait, pause
It's-
on that. I
it
was
could be
saying that.
terrible.
I was saying that about Billie Eilish's album. You're like, bro, you're so stupid for saying that, bro. Just saying.
What?
Okay.
Retard?
Different.
Who cares?
That doesn't mean it's good.
I never said Billie Eilish was experimental.
Yeah, experimental and, like, experimental's different than, like, just trying something new. Like, that experimental's like JPEG Mafia, like,
Experimental is like doing something that is not
it's
even
weird for a
close to
reason.
mainstream. Like,
It's
you
doing
know?
something weird for a reason instead of just, like, altering a genre.
yeah,
like
it's
trying-
basically like a bunch of random
Alright,
stuff.
are you guys gonna
Okay.
continue with your review?
Yeah, so 1,000
You're
guests.
the one that interrupted. Bro.
You were saying.
Yeah, just because it's experimental does not mean it's good, bro. That it was agony to listen to. Yeah, it went from, like, I don't even know, like, noise music to, like, dubstep to, like, rap screamo. It's just take every single terrible thing and put it in there, and that's what this album is. It unlistenable, 0 out of 10. That's my review.
All right, Dylan, what did you think?
Well, I was interested about what the hell was happening, because honestly, half the time I could not tell at all. I mean, not only like what Sam mentioned, like just with like the style of the music switching around so much, the vocals were like definitely not the greatest. I mean, their auto tune was just, it sounded like there was like a 9-year-old singing it, like it was like a kid show auto tune, like an intro to like some kid show. It was not enjoyable in the slightest bit. The bass was so heavy, like it wasn't even like a good bass. It was like an ear rape bass. Like, it was terrible. It was like, now you got like this 12-year-old kid in this bass just like destroying your eardrums if it's loud enough, and then it changes to like screamo, so the guy's screaming at you now. So,
Well, there's like a dubstep
Yeah.
instrument.
yeah, and then they do the dubstep. And
They do the
that's also-
dubstep and the screaming at the
At the
same
same time, he's screaming over dubstep.
Yeah, it's an abomination.
Bro, I might go back and listen to this album again, bro. Like,
I have not.
We got to
I
do a
have-
reaction
We
video.
should.
We just got to pretend like we've never heard it.
it was just,
Yeah.
I thought it was very fun to listen to. Anyway,
I gave it a 1.25.
I gave it a
so-
4.
1.25.
Yeah.
Just say 0, bro.
No, it didn't even deserve a 1.5, and I was like, shit, bro. 1.25.
I gave it a 4.
That's
Yeah,
on
really
some
go
power.
All right.
No way.
Let's talk
I
about.
want to see what you think a 0 is. I want to see it. Like, name a 0.
My beautiful chart twisted fantasy.
Name is
Yeah,
0.
The wall.
The
The
wall.
wall.
I don't. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a 0. Like,
You can't
well,
think of a 0.
country music is a 0, bro. Like 90%.
Every
of-
country song.
Not-
is a
not
Like
zero.
every
90%
but,
of
like,
country
yeah,
music
at
is a
least
0.
90%.
At least 90%
There was-
of the
yes.
genre.
I'm
Zero.
not even capping. And then there was that
That's a
song.
bold statement.
There was that song Dylan showed me by It was that screamo song about how they have like 8 kids.
Yeah, we're going off on a
Oh
tangent.
yeah.
We need to bring it back.
That song. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes,
final
Infant
thoughts. Album
Annihilator.
terrible.
Okay. Ariana Grande is the next album we're talking about.
Sam,
I didn't
go
listen to
ahead.
it. Go ahead.
Continue
You're the
what I
only one that
was-
Yeah,
listened to it.
They're gonna call me. They're gonna call me a simp, and
It's because it's
you know,
facts.
just because she's a female, she can't make good music. You know
Yes, exactly.
But I gave the Ariana Grande record an 8. It's
Simp.
No, it's alright. Go ahead.
I hate y'all. Yeah, it starts off really well. Like, she has a really awesome voice. She's definitely a crazy talented singer, and it's got some cool like trappy production. Like it basically it almost sounds like she's like singing over like trap beats sometimes, and it's like
That's what's popular and it makes your money.
Yes.
okay. It is pop music, so I would think she'd want to go with what's popular.
No.
So yeah, it sounds really good. Like it's mixed and produced really well. Again, she has an incredible voice. Like there's not really any terrible tracks. So an 8 I thought was fair. All the songs were pretty good. I liked it at least. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
All right. So since neither of us listened to it,
We
I
can
guess
just move on
we can move on.
to another female.
Now we're gonna move on to full reviews, which we will be giving much more in-depth thoughts about. Hopefully, as long as people did what they were supposed to. So we're gonna start with Norman fucking Rockwell by Lana Del Rey. Let's start with Dylan. He gave it the highest score, so
All right. Well, this pains me to say this, but I've given
gave him.
I have given a pop artist a 9 on an album.
Pop.
That's not pop.
Well, I looked it up, bro. It's technically like psychedelic pop or some shit. I don't know.
All right.
All I know is
I don't know
that
about
category,
psychedelic pop.
psychedelic pop. But it's
I'd
like,
say alternative.
Yeah, I thought it was
I guess.
alternative. Okay, it doesn't really matter.
all I know is that album was a 9. I really
love
really
her.
enjoyed. Yes, I enjoyed listening to that album. Not gonna lie, I found myself coming back to some of the songs over the past week or so. Oh no, Will's face.
How could you?
Sam acting like you don't listen to Ariana Grande every day.
I really don't listen to her that much.
He betrayed the boys.
We don't fuck with females out here. We gay.
Misogyny 2020.
Yes, the book of the Bible of misogyny. That's what I read every day.
Verse 1:1.
Call me future.
Looking at a female is against the law.
Yeah, so go on.
All right.
I really like the production on it. Definitely kind of like floaty almost. Kind of really relaxing album. Some of the songs out there, if I were to be like stabbed and there's no way of me living and I would just bleed out to death, definitely that would be the album to put on for me to die to.
That's
If
the
I'm
album
bleeding
you
out.
want to
I don't
bleed
know
out
about
to death
that,
about.
bruh.
I mean, what would you go out listening to?
I would go out listening to Dark Side of the Moon, bro. I'd go out
That's a good
listening
one.
to Great Gig in the Sky.
That would be pretty good too.
Yeah, that would
But
be
I'm
what
just
I would
saying, if that was
for
something
time.
that I could
I
listen
wish
to.
you were
I'm not-
here.
I feel like, yeah, we don't need to talk about
Anyway.
that. Yeah, whatever.
I mean, definitely. I mean, it gave me that type of feeling, bro. Just that kind of deep. I don't even know how to explain it, but I did give it a 9. I really enjoyed it. Definitely coming back to it.
All right.
I was not expecting that at
Sam,
all.
How did you like the album?
Well, I mean, I liked it, probably not as much as Dylan did, but I gave it an 8. It was it's not really my style. Like for me, it gets old after a while because like her vocals are kind of stay in the same range a lot. like I'm gonna go back to Ariana Grande. Like her range,
Yeah.
huge, right? Like she can go super super high. I mean, she can't go low really, but she can go like whistling high. Like it's insane. But Ariana Grande, it's like I understand what it is. Definitely the album. It makes you want to just go sit on the beach and like smoke a joint or something and
Yeah.
just like float to it. It's definitely good for that. It's kind of situational. Like
Yeah.
I I would want to be in that kind of a zone to listen to it.
Yeah,
It would
that's
it would probably hit like a 10 if you were. So I'll have to check that out at some point.
yeah, that I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying, like it kind of gets old after a while. That's why I was kind of having trouble like doing a
Yeah,
full listen to this hour-long album and all the songs are kind of just in the same
But he gave it a
yeah,
9.
category. Yeah, I did
yeah.
give it a 9 though because the album's nearly
And in the right
flawless.
setting, you would be floating for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
So
100%.
clearly, I guess I didn't like it as much as you guys did because, I mean, it was basically just like female Frank Ocean to me, and like I would choose Frank Ocean like 100% of the time.
It's
Um,
not really the same, bro.
it just gave me that vibe. So I mean,
She has way more reverb on her voice than Frank Ocean usually does.
I didn't hate the album. I give it a 7. There was a
You
couple.
gave it you gave it a 7.5 actually.
My bad. Yes, the Google Docs
Yeah.
does say 7.5. There was a couple
Oh, we ain't
songs.
reading. We ain't reading off nothing, bro. I had that
Yes,
off
he
my mind.
memorized it.
I
Um,
did, bro. That's fine.
um,
I'm just
I forgot what I was saying.
7.5.
Yeah,
We can
seven
move
point
on.
7.5 because I had a reason. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter though. 7.5, decent album. Oh, there was a couple songs I liked, but other than those two, probably won't be going back to listen to any of the other songs. So yeah, we're gonna move on. Jesus is King, Kanye West.
Oof.
Dylan gave it the highest score again, so we'll start with him again.
Yeah, I mean, not the highest score by
Wait a
much.
minute.
I gave it a
Gave it a
7.
7.
Bro, you gave it 1 point higher than me. Honestly, it'd be kind of boring
Hey,
because
no
you're like, yeah, I got
spoilers.
6, and then I got a 6 as well.
Satan.
Yeah,
I mean, a 6. I think a 6 is where it sits.
All right. Anyway,
honest,
Dylan's giving his review.
honestly, and the technicality of it, it is a really good hip hop album. It's kind of just like a classic Kanye. Shut up, Sam. But I know it's controversial, and that's why you guys and a lot of other people kind of give it a bad reviews. Like, no, man, he's got to drop his seventh album about fucking bitches and doing this and doing that, getting money. No, it can't be about anything else. Like, it's just that's kind of what makes it good because it's so like something that you just not expect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I'm gonna have to agree and disagree with Dylan
gonna
because
have to disagree.
it definitely. I think he was correct when he said like it. I personally think most of it had good production. Most of it had good rapping. It's just
When is Kanye gonna pull up without good production? Like
yeah,
it
that's true. But that's
doesn't
like
really make the album.
that's where the
Yeah, but we're all,
highlights.
we always have to remember you always got to talk about the album. You can't like compare it
Yeah.
to like his
So
other albums.
um, that's really where the highlights stop because
Yeah, I'm not
there's
saying it was like over the wall, like freaking awesome.
there
It was
was
all right.
a couple, 2 or 3 songs that I go back and listen to occasionally, but I mean the Chick-fil-A song was like
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
one
oh
was pretty
a
bad.
one maybe. Like other than the
Actually, I
production,
I kind of like that song past the Chick-fil-A song, past those bars.
you my
I kind of like it.
Chick-fil-A.
No, past that, it's decent past that. But I teeter on 6 and a 5. It could be a 6 one day, a 5 the other. It's kind of maybe even a 4 some days.
I
It kind
told
of
y'all Sam just be changing his opinion.
Well, bro, you could ask me.
Who knows? Tomorrow
That
it's gonna be a 0. Who
you,
knows?
what you have to do is you have to set an opinion on something, and you can just never change it.
Exactly.
Something that you never do.
you have to keep that. Well, that's because it's wrong. That's not how you're supposed to do
It doesn't matter. Okay.
it.
Clearly, none of us thought the album was extraordinary. So, but it was still Kanye. So of course it sold a bunch. Next on the list, another person that sells a ton. Post Malone dropped his third studio album, Hollywood's Bleeding.
Well, wait, I didn't get to talk about Jesus is King.
We know you think it's trash. You said you gave it a 4 or 5, and you said you
No,
liked
bro,
it.
I needed to talk about it
Okay,
more.
what did we miss?
Okay,
He's trying to think
I'll
what we
know.
missed.
what did they miss? It's some trash. All right,
Okay,
we good.
so Post Malone's third studio album, Hollywood's Bleeding. So I really like this album. This is my favorite Post Malone album.
What?
I said this is my favorite Post Malone album.
Say it again.
So as you guys
No,
may have
bro,
missed the
it's
first two
close.
times, this is my favorite Post Malone album.
All
And
right.
the first two, so the first album I thought was good because it incorporated a lot of like alternative rock kind of vibes to it on a lot of the songs. But but his second album is my least favorite just because it seemed like he was just trying to get sales. Like it was very mainstream. This is what is going to sell, so this is what I'm going to put out. But with this album, he kind of stayed. He kind of found his lane. Like he was able to mix his stony like rock-ish influences into like the hip hop that he's been making for the past few years, and I think he's kind of like maybe not perfected, but done really well.
No, he ain't
Not
perfected.
perfect.
But
Yeah.
done. This was his best attempt at making his lane in hip hop. So I give it an 8 out of 10.
Hip hop. I mean, I guess, but yeah, I gave it a 7.5. I think it. I think all of his albums are pretty equal, honestly. Like Stoney just gets seen as the best because it came out first, and it's like he kind of just. It almost feels like he kind of just did that again, and then he changed it up a little bit on uh, Hollywood's Bleeding. But like, yeah, it's a good album. It's it's just I feel like he hasn't really like he definitely hasn't perfected it yet. I don't think he doesn't have anywhere close to a 10
No.
of an album, but he could get there. Like if he stops smoking cigarettes and like works on singing a lot. He, no, he can sing fine. I mean, like his voice
You
is
can
gonna
tell
deteriorate with how
it's
much he's
starting to
smoking.
yeah.
Yeah, if you hear him live without auto tune, it's a little
It can be a
it's a
little rough.
little yeah, it's rough, bro.
All right, Dylan.
But yeah, wait, hold on, bro, hold
I
on.
thought you were done. My bad.
No, no. But anyway, I like the album. I like the like rock influences and stuff. Probably Hollywood's Bleeding. The title track is my favorite. I like the like guitar at the beginning, and I mean his voice sounds good. Everything sounds good. It's just kind of it hasn't been perfected yet.
Yeah. All right, Dylan.
Well, I also gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I I mean, I liked it overall, but some of the songs, just the replayability was kind of low, and I mean, I do like the rock type flow, especially he brought Ozzy Osbourne
Mhm.
onto this album. Oh, Post Malone's so nice making this Ozzy Osbourne guy famous.
Yeah, Ozzy
But
Osbourne who?
yeah, who is that? But I thought that was pretty cool, especially when that dropped and got to hear
It
that
was
on the.
it was just so funny that like all these like 14-year-old girls had no idea who Ozzy Osbourne was. Like he just was. They were like, it's so nice of him to bring these like underground artists onto his projects. Like,
Yes, they've never
yes,
heard Crazy Train
yeah,
or
like
somehow
or like
Yes.
any of his songs. Like he was
Black
huge.
Sabbath.
Yeah,
They've never even heard of it.
they're like Black
Oh
Sabbath.
man.
Who?
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, Billie Eilish stands are talking about Ozzy Osbourne. Who?
Yeah, I mean, definitely cool. I thought Circles was cool too.
Yeah,
That was a cool.
yeah.
That was a cool take.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
there's a couple good songs on there that I really liked, but definitely, not close to like some of his other albums in my opinion. I mean, he's gonna get there eventually, probably within either this next album or the album after
Yeah.
that is probably gonna be like really good.
I don't know if it's going to be his next album just because he's rumored to drop pretty soon and it hasn't been that long since he dropped his last one. So I think the short amount of time if the rumors are true that he's dropping soon, just with the short amount of time I don't think he will have progressed as an artist enough to have it like a 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the next one's gonna be a 10, but it could be up there,
It could be better than
honestly.
this one. I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah,
Wait,
it could be.
so Dylan, you said that it's not as good as some of his other. What what do you like? Which album do you think is better? You think?
I like Stony better, honestly.
I can
But
understand that.
it's
Stoney's
just
good.
I mean, I like Stony better too. So I mean, it doesn't. I don't know if you could say that it's definitely better. It's kind of like all three of them could
They're
be.
very close.
That you could say that
yeah.
any of them was better. It just
And
depends on
I
any
know
day.
I know different people like I know people that think Beer Monks and Bentley's the best, Sony's the best, Hollywood's Bleeding the best. It just depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next we're talking about definitely a
Igor.
top 3 album of last year. There was really only one thing that I thought Igor was lacking, and that was replayability.
Yeah.
Try listening to that album twice.
I've listened to that album 3 or
Try
4
listening to
times
it once.
total, and it's good music. I give it an 8.5. But the problem is like some songs, like if I'm listening to like Post Malone, for example, since we just talked about him, I could listen to Post Malone all day if I'm in the mood to listen to Post Malone. But Tyler the Creator just doesn't make that kind of music in general. For at least for me, like I couldn't go listen to Tyler the Creator for 10 hours straight.
Oh my gosh. I feel like Igor though is way
Igor,
different
yeah,
than any
and
other
Igor took his lack of replayability for me further down. Like if I couldn't listen, like I could listen to Hollywood's Bleeding twice in a day. I could not listen to Igor twice in one day or twice in a week. I probably couldn't listen to it twice in 1 month. But it had really good stuff. Like Tyler, surprisingly, is a good singer. I liked a lot of the vocals on this album. It had good features. Playboy Cardi on Earthquake
Yeah, right.
was
Playboy Cardi carried the album.
he did
Bro.
he carried that song.
He carried the whole album.
And then the production, Tyler produced almost every song, if not every song, on that album, and I thought it was really well produced. So other than replayability, there's really nothing I could knock on that album. So 8.5, I think, solid score for me. Dylan, what'd you think?
Well, like you said, the replayability is just terrible. Honestly, whenever I started listening to that, probably halfway through it, I mean, I was just like, I can't listen to it anymore. Not only was the album replayability bad, just listening to the entire album in a whole was just, it just fell off so badly
Yeah.
in the back half of the album. The production was awesome though. I really liked the production, like on Igor's theme and Earthquake. Production's really cool. I really liked it. But after that point, I mean, yeah, the production's cool, but it's just like it's not intriguing.
The production can only carry for so long.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I don't know. I mean, it was a good album, but I mean, not something I'm turning on
Yeah.
at any other time than when I listen to it for the first time. Maybe like Earthquake, like
Earthquake.
once a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
That's the only
I
song.
heard that song enough when it
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Go body. Yeah, so I gave the album a 6. I think it's slightly above average. I did not enjoy listening to it. I I don't I don't like Tyler the Creator. I I don't really like that album. It just kind of man it didn't hit. Like I can
Yeah.
see why you would think it's good, but it wasn't in my opinion.
White girls stan this album.
Yeah, it really ain't that crazy, but
Yeah. But
I would say overrated.
it
But I
is.
mean,
I
it's
agree. Because people were
Didn't
saying like album of the year, like 10 out of 10. Like it's not.
didn't he win like a
yeah.
Grammy for it or
Yeah,
something?
he won album of the or like best
Yeah,
rap album.
yeah, that's
Cap.
insane, bro. That's major. Like I remember watching that
Yeah.
on the
So
on.
if we transition into personally my album of the year,
Album of the year.
All My Heroes Are Cornballs by JPEG Mafia.
I thought you were finna say Thug.
No.
I was like, album of the year? Dang.
JPEG Mafia. I stan JPEG Mafia. I think he is the best new rapper, like super recently. His breakout album was 2018. He's easily the best rapper to come out since 2018.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
he's just dropping hits. Like he dropped Veteran, and I'd give that an 8.5 or a 9. He dropped All My Heroes Are Cornballs, and the Google Docs says 9.5, but I think I might have to change that to a 10, honestly.
Dang.
Like,
I don't know.
I love this album. It's really close between a 9.5 and a 10 for me. Like, I listen to this album all the time. It's got so many good songs. I can listen to every song, and it doesn't get boring. Like,
I didn't even give Fear Inoculum a 10, bro.
I know.
Like,
I think I might have to give JPEG Mafia a 10.
Uh,
All right, what
I
do
don't
you guys
know,
think
but I
about
don't
it?
know. I mean, I gave it a 9. It's definitely. I wouldn't say there's any bad songs. It all hits. Like it's definitely a weird genre, like
Yeah.
noise rap kind of. It's just like there's so much stuff going on. I kind of have to strap down to listen to that album because it's so chaotic. Like there's so much stuff happening at once, but it is really cool and it's different. And it's something where trying something different actually ended up being really cool. And my favorite track's probably Keenan versus Cal, or that the name of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That song goes nuts, bro. Like especially the end. It's really cool.
I have.
I think it's better than Veteran
Yeah,
personally.
me too.
Veteran has probably 4 songs that I really like, and then there's like some songs that are just good.
I
But this album, I feel like was almost like every song I can listen to. I can listen to it and it's cool. Like it's yeah, it's a 9 for me.
so like for me, like I've got so many songs that I could say are like my favorite, but the one song I keep coming back to is Grimy Waifu. Like that
Yes.
song, the hook is just insane.
Wait,
And
what hook you talking about?
what?
What
I'm
hook
not
you
about.
talking about? Sing it for
I ain't
us,
about to
bro.
sing it. I'm not a JPEG Mafia level singer,
Yeah,
but
he's like the best singer ever, bro.
he releases so much music, and I didn't realize that until I got into him more recently. But this year he's dropped 4 singles
Mhm.
Is that crazy for a year?
in 4 months.
Oh, in 4 months.
Yeah, like
I mean, he could have had it all done.
I'm talking about like literally like 2020. He's dropped 4 singles since like January or February, and
He's
just
got
like
another 10 coming.
and like all of the singles that he's dropped, it might only be 3 singles, but they're all really good. Covered in Money is very. It sounds like it could be on JPEG. It sounds like it could be on All My Heroes Are Cornballs, and then he's got this new song that just came out yesterday or 2 days ago called Bodyguard, and it's like there's no rapping in it. It's like an R&B song, but he did it really well.
Yeah. Well, Dylan, you want to give your thoughts on it?
Well, I gave it a 9. I mean, overall, okay. I mean, earlier I was saying it was better than Veteran, but I'm gonna have to go back on that. Honestly, the vocals compared to Veteran are better in more of the songs because in Veteran it was kind of only just like a handful of the songs that were like really good, and then the rest of them were like, they're all right, but they're not something that you're just gonna like stumble across, just turn on whenever.
Um,
It's
Veteran was much more experimental, I think. Maybe it's just if you compare the two, like
They both pretty
they're
yeah, they
both.
experimental,
both
bruh.
are.
Yeah, I'm not saying like All My Heroes Are Cornballs isn't. I'm just saying like Veteran gave that more experimental rap vibe because he would come in with like these crazy beats and then just like aggressively rap over them. But
Yeah, and
Yeah,
on
I really
I like that about him.
yeah, but with All My Heroes Are Cornballs, like sometimes he would come in with his crazy beats, but it'd be a little softer, so maybe a little easier to take in. Like some songs he would sing,
yeah
so I think it was more accessible of an album.
I
yeah
like I like when he just goes nuts.
Yeah, it.
Like that's why I like Keenan versus Cal. That last part where that whatever that industrial sound is in your,
author and
you know what I'm
puncture.
talking
Yeah,
about. Like industrial sound, and then he just starts like screaming over that beat. Like that live would probably go nuts,
I really
bro.
like when I like his like background vocals. That lady that he has like do the background vocals on a lot of the songs.
Oh yeah.
Like he'll have like these crazy beats, and then they'll like cut out, and you'll hear this lady, and then it'll just be like, and like,
Yes. So yeah, that's a good one.
so
We can
yeah.
go ahead and move.
So we can move on to biggest trap album of the year. Young Thug dropped So Much Fun. Um, I
Yes.
I personally top 3 Thug album for me. I really liked this album. Um, it had a lot of good songs. Song of the summer, in my opinion, Hot was, in my opinion,
Yes.
Hot was like trap song of the year.
yeah, like that song went nuts. And even it was different than Sicko Mode though, because like no matter how many times I heard it, I still wasn't like, oh, turn this off. Like I would still listen to it if it came on. So
Yeah.
like I think that's definitely a plus if you can do that with a song. And then, but there wasn't really a song that I hated. I mean, unless you count MGK's verse on
That he
Ecstasy.
added after
Yeah,
the album.
like I luckily
Yeah.
I downloaded the album before that, so I never had to listen to it. But
Yeah, I have the MP3 of
yeah,
his of the original
I do
song.
too.
You ain't gonna ever catch me bumping Machine Gun Kelly pager.
Indie white boys think Machine Gun Kelly's so hard, but he's not.
I mean, he got some array.
Yeah, for like 2 weeks.
Hey, that's better than we're gonna get.
That's true. So, all right, Dylan, what do you
Yeah,
think?
Dylan, you wanna go ahead?
I gave it an 8. I mean, honestly, Sam didn't even know like who Young Thug is because before me because I stand him so hard because fucking slime shit was just such a bop. But Sam soon found out that Barter Six.
Bro, wait till you get a webcam, bro. I'm gonna bring back this clip back up. This is the Young Thug stand. It's just gonna be a picture of you.
I mean, I don't stand him like really hard, but I mean, I just think he's a pretty good rapper, and I really enjoy some of his music. So much fun, probably like Will said, the top 3 albums he has, but also, I mean, all of his most of his albums aren't really the greatest, so it's kind of
You're forgetting.
it's not saying much.
You're forgetting about Barter 6.
Barter 6,
Yeah, it's in there.
Barter 6, 1017 Thug, So Much Fun, and pretty much the whole Slime season, like mixtape series, are all good, but everything else is
Yeah.
kind of a miss.
Yeah, exactly. Slime season.
I would say Barter 6 is his only good.
That's probably his best album.
It's his best. I think so
I
much.
would say it's his only good album. Like,
No.
only album
No.
that's actually good from
Jeffrey,
start to finish.
I forgot about Jeffrey. Jeffrey's fire. It's short. It's like 7 songs, but it's fire, start to finish. There's not a bad song.
Not as good as Barter 6,
I'm
bro.
not saying it is. I'm just saying it's a good album.
And Barter 6 like came out in 2015. Like,
Trap classic.
yeah,
I'm the same, bro. Barter 6, So Much Fun. Slime Language. I fuck with that.
Slime Language sucks,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude, did you tell me, dude? Yes, you were only bumping that for like 2 months straight, like half.
Yes,
the song.
I bumped one song. I
Slime
bumped
language.
Scoliosis.
No, yeah,
But
you
it's
bumped
the best song.
Scoliosis. It's a slime. What else did you listen to, bro?
Slime language was
You
not the
ain't
best.
sliming up.
It's definitely the worst
It
out
was
of the
Scoliosis and the song with Lil Uzi.
Taliansi.
Slime language is definitely the worst out of the slime like series that he has. Slime season 1, 2, and 3 are all better than slime language.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, Slime season 3 is probably better than Slime.
Tidal Boy is winning right now because we have all of those on Tidal.
I mean, are we talking about those, or are we? You know what I'm
You cut
saying.
out,
Yeah, you cut out.
Are we talking about those albums, or are we talking about So Much? Like,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're talking about Young Thug's whole discography right now.
yeah, we're just rating every album.
All right. So Dylan liked it. I liked it. Sam, not a Young Thug fan. What'd you think, Sam?
I gave it a 4.
You did.
All right, now listen, bro. It's just, it's not okay. It's not like terrible, like the worst thing I've ever heard, but I don't know, bro. If I'm gonna listen to Young Thug, I'm gonna order 6. Like, it doesn't hit the same. Like, he's kind of like, it's over more of these upbeat kind of things more than like just trap bangers that are just, the definition of trap when you think about it. It was decent. It was a good summer album. I mean, not good summer album, but like it. I mean, it had some bangers in there, but most of the songs do again. So I gave it a 4.
I used to like stan Young Thug. I would like listen to like all his stuff.
He don't miss, bro. He don't miss.
I used to think that, and I used to like hate Future. I used to think Future was like garbage, but I kind of switched up on that. Like I've been listening like all of his Future's old mixtapes have been coming to streaming services, and I've been listening to his old stuff, and like I think I just had a bad first impression because like I didn't get into rap until like 8th grade. So the first like Future album I heard, or that I remember hearing like for the first time, was Hendrix and Future, that like back-to-back album that dropped like 2016, and those were not good. Those are his like worst albums. So
I mean, we talking about Young Thug, like that's all
Yes.
I'm saying. We're talking about So Much Fun, not Future.
yes, I tied it in.
Yeah, he's tying it in.
I tied it in.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So, like I was saying, I used to stan Young Thug, but then like I switched up because like Future is like he's like Young Thug but better almost. Like
Whoa.
he makes like some of his like
They're doing origami right now.
some of his stuff is fire. Like his mixtapes are heat. And other than Barter 6, I think Barter 6 is the only project Young Thug has that's better than Future's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's his only good album.
I'm not saying it's his only good album. I'm just saying Future, like I used to
comparable to Future.
I used to think
Future got some trash, bro. I
Future-
He
don't know
does.
what you're
Future does have some
saying.
He
trash.
does have some fire.
He does have some fire. Coding crazy, bro. You cannot tell me that doesn't go crazy.
It doesn't. Like
It
I'm just
does.
not really. I'm not really in.
Okay. Anyway, you were right. We're not talking about Future. We're talking
Yeah.
about Young Thug. But now
We're done.
we're
We're
done
done
talking
with
about
that.
Young Thug. We're gonna talk about Tool's album after their
Yes.
13-year hiatus, Fear Inoculum.
We'll have Will shit on it first.
Okay, I'm going
13
first.
year lawsuit.
So, it is no secret I'm not a Tool stan. I think they have some good. I think they have some good albums.
We are.
But
You're not a prog rock enthusiast.
I'm
Putting
not.
that out there.
um,
Any Tool fan, don't listen to this man. He's just let him shit though.
so basically, let me preface this before the Tool stands like start putting angry comments. I like
Nobody commented.
I like
Nobody saying shit.
I like their older stuff. 10,000 Days, Lateralis, really good albums. I like those. But so much Fear Inoculum is
So much.
I know. I was still thinking about Young Thug.
Young Thug helped them.
So Fear Inoculum just didn't hit for me. It just sounded like Maynard just like moaning over like heavy instrumentals, and I just didn't like it. So there's
I
really
mean, fair, bro.
Okay.
I went through a stage. I went through a stage of not.
there's not much I really have to
Wait, what did
say.
you say, Sam? You cut out.
I said I went through a stage of not liking it either.
Yeah, there's really not much I have to say other than like it's different than their other albums, and I don't like the direction they went in.
All right,
Okay,
Sam.
shut up.
All right, Sam, your turn.
Okay, so I'm kind of I'm kind of in the middle here, but I like it a lot. More does obviously. I'm a Tool. I stand Tool. I've been listening to them for a long time. They're my favorite band of all time. And I'm on first listen, I I really liked the album because like no matter what it's Tool. First listen, I'm gonna be all over it. But over time, I was like, dang, bro, this kind of is not as good. And I started to hate on it, like pretty heavy. I was like, dang, this album kind of sucks, bro, compared to their other stuff. But recently, well, what happened was I saw them live, and I saw them play the album live, and it totally changed my opinion on it. It was made to play live. It sounds
100%.
amazing live. Um, and I have to stop comparing it to their other stuff because it's not like their other albums. And you can't say that oh it's just not as good. I personally don't think it's as good as their other albums, but you kind of just can't say like it's it's different. It I personally am not the biggest fan of some of the like chugging through the songs and stuff. The songs are it feels like they do a lot of the same thing because the breakdowns are chugging and stuff. Man, live.
We're back. My internet cut out. Sam, where were you?
All right. So I think I was at Descending, my favorite song on the album. I think me and Dylan are gonna get to see that live. We've got one more. We've got tickets to one more show. This whole Corona thing has unfortunately postponed that, so we have no idea when that's gonna happen. But I really hope I get to hear that song live because that's just gonna be awesome, man. So Descending, uh, the title track, and probably Numa. I don't know. Those are probably my top three. But yeah, it's a good album, man. It's just not. Their other albums are just so crazy. They kind of just they don't have what they had before, but they have something different. So it's kind of like, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. They did what they could, and they did a pretty good job at it. So
Yeah. Well, I also am major Tool stan. And with my first listen, I thought it was just fucking crazy, like in my opinion. I mean, especially since it's been 13 years since
Yeah,
they dropped 10,000 Days.
we were going nuts when it first
Yeah,
dropped.
that was fun. 100% love that time. But honestly, like Sam said, it kind of started to degrade over time, in my opinion. And once we saw it live for the first time, I was like, "Oh, I understand now." Like it's just so different from their other albums in a way, because a lot of their other albums, like, yeah, they were prog rock before. Now this is just like prog rock, period. Like there's, I mean, maybe like Tempest. They have more like a rocky. I know Tools.
Metal.
Yeah, no, not metal. Like metally vibes on Tempest. And that was probably kind of the closest on Tempest that they got to their previous work. However, every single song in there I love. I gave it a 9.5. Every single song except for like maybe like Calling Voices. I know Sam's about to shit on me, but like
No,
I'm
I
not
gave
saying
Calling Voices a 6.
it's a
I
6.
don't think. Yeah, I gave Calling Voices a 6.
Yeah, I mean it's probably like a 6 or 7. That's probably like the only kind of miss on the album. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just kind of it's just it could have been better for what it
We might
was.
if somehow we heard that song live, we might change our
Yeah, we
opinion
might
on
change our mind.
it.
But like Numa, honestly, I didn't even like Numa on like the first
Yeah,
week listen. Like I was like, yeah, it's good, but like, and then I heard it live, and now every single we're going to our third Tool concert, and I'm just praying since after the Corona, I'm praying that they keep Numa on the set list
they
because
will. They
yeah,
love playing that
100%.
song.
That song is
It's live, a
nuts,
live
nuts
song.
live. I mean, I don't listen to it as much on the album, like just kind of just listening to it off Spotify or something. But definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. Every single song on the album for me, except for Calling Voices, is a 10.
Is it? Whoa. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I'm gonna have to put that out there. It's a 10.
I,
The only I did give this album a 9.5 though, only because one Calling Voices was kind of a miss, and all of the interludes were boring as hell.
yeah.
Like they Tool has some really cool interludes on every single one of their previous albums, except for like Opiate, but that's an EP. But
And Undertow. Undertow didn't have any interludes.
oh yeah, I didn't. But
Wait,
yeah.
would you consider Disgustipated an interlude?
Hmm. I mean, I
Who
get.
cares? We ain't talking about that.
Disgusting, I guess we should do a live reaction
My
to
favorite.
that. Yeah, I mean the interludes were like kind of a miss. I mean, there wasn't really anything cool about them. Like I guess like this album was meant to be played live. Like Tool, they've already fucking made it. They don't care what you think about their album. They know that it's meant to be played live, and that's why they play it live.
They
And
don't play it live to make money.
I mean,
I mean, they
that's
got
not what
money.
I'm saying.
No,
They got money.
they broke.
Still, bro, even
Maynard
in
out
like,
here like $40 million net worth. No, I need the
Maynard,
money.
more like
Like $60 million
Gaynard.
or something. Yeah, Gaynard.
yeah, Gaynard, uh, it's. I mean, the only thing you can say about this album compared to the other albums is that it's not
As
rocky
good.
enough. It's more progressive. It's
Yeah.
more progressive than the other ones, and the
I
vocals
would
just
not
aren't.
say that. I would not say it's more progressive than their other album.
The only thing
Really?
I would say
No,
about this
I
album,
wouldn't. Their other albums, they all build to a climax. I would say better than Fear Inoculum does.
oh, definitely.
Just
Mm,
because it's basically genting on a six string doesn't mean it's more proggy. Like
well, that's just my opinion. It's not.
The
But
only thing I have
hey,
to say about
I'm
this
not done
album,
yet.
yeah, he talking.
Yes,
You
he
don't-
been
you don't-
talking.
You don't stop me on the Tool rant. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I was almost done anyways. But the other thing is that the vocals, Maynard was not on like half of the
Gainer.
album almost. Like, but I understand that his vocals are. I mean, I used to say that his vocals are probably pretty worn out from screaming throughout all the years, and that's probably why he wanted to keep it short, especially if they were going to be playing this live and not do anything too crazy on the album, so he wasn't expected to do this live. But after
Listen,
seeing him, perform Part of Me and even Tolerance, but more Part of Me, that was crazy.
he can still scream.
Yeah, like it. That's what I'm trying to say. I was like, whenever they started playing the song, I was like, what the hell? How is he gonna do like half this song?
And he did it.
And I was like, then he did it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but screaming with volume is different than hitting a note and then leaving.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it was one of my favorite parts of the concert when I saw that. I was like, holy shit, bro, he just screamed. I was not expecting that. But like you happened if you say he could do the bottom scream or the eulogy scream or
No.
the grudge scream. Like there's
No, I'm
no
not saying he can do
way.
that. Honestly, that
It's-
scream at the end was so good. You need to go rewatch the video of it because that scream was literally louder than the entire band that was playing. Honestly, you could barely even hear them. He went off on that last scream.
on Part of Me.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
I watch that video at least like once a week, bro. So
yeah, he goes hard, but again, we are talking about Fear Inoculum, not Part of Me.
overall, 9.5. Again, you can't compare it to their other albums just because it's not their other albums.
Unless you want to rank it at the bottom, then you can compare it to
No, you can't. That's not how it
their. That's
I'm
not
just
how.
saying, it's just like Sam was saying, bro. Not
It's bad.
no,
Just like
he
he
didn't
was
say
saying.
this straight up. He was saying this like, well, if it sounded like one of their older albums, it would be bad. But it doesn't sound like their older album, so it's bad. Like it's just it's something different. Yeah.
He's trying to
oh,
make me
yeah.
look stupid.
Nah, that's what you said, bro. Basically, you're
All
like,
right.
it's not
So,
No, what I said about it earlier was definitely made sense and was here, and I gave a
no,
good review.
this is off the podcast.
Okay,
But-
well, I gave my official review just now, and those are my actual thoughts.
okay.
8.25. That's the
Yes.
score, bro. It could be an 8. It could be an
So-
8.5. It's kind of in the middle somewhere.
As we see, they are Tool stands. They both like Tool. They've given quite a few thoughts.
What? Nah, bro. I don't even.
Who's
I've
that?
never even heard of them.
So we're gonna go on to the last album on our list, "Death Race for Love" by Juice WRLD.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go.
in the review.
Just then.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start. I've been a long time Juice WRLD fan. Been listening to him since 2017.
Bro, day one fan.
I am.
Day one, bro.
I'm
As
a-
soon as Lucid Dreams came out.
As soon as it came out after he died, bro, I love that so much.
Was Lucid Dreams on the 999 EP?
I don't know. Who cares, bro? It don't.
It was on.
Go talk about Death Race for not Lucid Dreams.
I'm talking about Juice WRLD, just in general right now.
I don't know.
So
Who cares?
basically, I've liked Juice WRLD for a
It was
long
on
time.
Goodbye, Good Riddance.
Yeah, I know that.
Yes, he knows.
So why'd you just ask?
Because
He says, was it on 999?
yeah, because a lot of
Which was like his mixtape
oh my
or
gosh,
something.
Dylan
before.
doesn't understand. I'm looking.
He's dumb, bro. He doesn't know the
Yeah,
Juice WRLD
It
lore.
was. So
Yo, so I do not know his entire discography by memory.
Lucid Dreams was on the 999 EP. So that EP came out. My friend showed it to me at school. That was so long ago. It didn't seem like it, but I was a sophomore, and instantly I was like, "This is it! Like this dude is awesome. He's gonna be big." And then about not super long after the 999 EP came out,
I saw that, damn.
he announced his album. I'm gonna see it after. So,
Dylan
I
ain't gonna like this album.
I
He-
didn't
he
even
gotta-
listen to it, so I haven't.
What?
I cannot
Yes,
believe you.
I've played it in the car,
Okay.
bro.
Have you?
It doesn't
Or
matter.
give me a feeling.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So-
because I don't remember.
I played it yesterday. So
Basically,
dementia Biden out here, just like
The guy named Cornball, right? He came up to my legs.
the 16th pandemic of
bro,
16,
guys,
17.
calm down. Oh, we're so bad at this, bro. We'll get better at it.
Okay, so
We gotta just keep trying.
basically, I liked Juice WRLD a lot because his first album came out right after like my sophomore girlfriend broke up with me, and I thought it was just like the worst thing that had ever happened to me. So I was listening to like Juice WRLD, and then I was like, I just like really like.
Let's just talk about Death Race for Love, bro.
I'm getting to it. Shut up.
These are full reviews, so they can
Yeah.
be longer.
Okay.
I forgot.
I did forget, bro.
So
We've done the same thing for each album.
So, yeah, I really like Juice WRLD from then. So I've been waiting, basically at like that point for him to drop more stuff. But then he dropped World on Drugs. Disappointment. That album deserved to be slept on. Future did bad on that
Fine
album.
China was good.
Fine China was good, but other than that, it was bad. Pretty
The
much.
replayability of Fine China is like 2.
Nah, I like Fine
I
China.
like Fine China.
Fine
So-
China.
Well, I don't like when you sing it. I like when Juice WRLD sings it.
So
Dude, I listened to it plenty of times, and it got old so fast.
So have I. I like it.
so
No.
not super long after World on Drugs came out, and he was like, "Oh, people hated that. Got to drop a new album." So he dropped Death Race for Love, and
We're finally at Death Race for Love.
I thought it was a really good album. I gave it a 7.5, but that's adjustable. It might be an 8. No higher than that though. But the only problem with it is there was I don't want to say so many filler tracks, but there was too many filler tracks. The album was 22 songs, and it should have been like 16 to 18.
Yeah,
But
pretty
Should have
much.
been 0, but
The
Well,
songs,
you don't get an opinion because you haven't listened.
yeah, the songs that did hit were really good. Like you got songs like "Empty," "Feeling," "Flaws and Sins," and then songs toward the end of the album like "Make Believe" and "The Bee's Knees." The beat switch on "The Bee's Knees" went so hard, especially like first listen. I was like, "Ooh!" Like it hit, and it came out
I
of
remember
nowhere.
We listened. Me and him listened to
Yeah.
for the first listen. I'm pretty sure we. I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna talk about the events that transpired.
But yeah, it was just other than a few filler tracks, I thought it was a really solid album, and it sucks that he died and didn't get to evolve more as an artist. If you want to hear more about Juice WRLD, check out our review on his new song because we talked about him a lot in that review. So
we talked about him more than the song.
Yeah, we really did.
yeah.
So if you want to hear about our experiences with Juice WRLD, go watch that video. Sam, what'd you think about Death Race for Love?
Okay, so I gave it a 7. Really didn't put like an insane amount of thought into it because there's
perks.
me.
No, Jesus.
No, I'm talking about me.
Oh.
I didn't put an insane amount of thought in the ranking because it's kind of just like there's too many songs, but I realized that it's much easier to say what songs you want to take out than to say what songs you would want to keep in. So I mean, it's a pretty good album, man. It's a good follow to Goodbye, Good Riddance. I would say if I had to take out songs, I'd take out Rider, She's the One, Won't Let Go, On God, Out My Way, Who Shot Cupid.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. That's a pretty good list. Pretty
And
similar to what I would take out.
if he did that, it probably would have been probably an 8 or a 9.
It would have been a 9 for me if he was.
Yeah.
If it was a better length, no fillers, 9.
Yeah. It also has I really like the album cover. The album cover is super.
And the concert was insane because it had the same theme.
Yeah.
Like, he had,
it was like game theme. Like
and there was
retro.
literally like in the concert you would get like cutscenes on the projectors, and they would like it was so cool.
There was like a robot car or something. There was I mean, you probably don't remember it that well.
I remember.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. Like, just the fact that they like took his kind of theme for the album, like video game, PS2, like race game, and like made it into a show that he could perform was just crazy, and I thought they did a really good job with it.
I feel, don't they do that for a lot of artists?
I haven't been to that many concerts, so.
I guess. I mean, definitely Tool has some weird shit on their screen.
Yeah. I showed a Nemo video the other day.
Okay, so since Dylan doesn't have anything to say, since he didn't listen to it like a gay loser.
I still wouldn't have anything to say.
Let me just say, when we listened to it, Pert give me a feeling. Like that's all.
So,
it definitely increased how good it sounded. Like, I mean,
yeah,
the song feeling where he says "Pert give me a feeling."
Yes.
You know what I'm saying.
I'm super excited for his next album that should be coming out pretty soon. He just dropped a single, of course. Like I said, go check out that video.
His next album.
His next album, it should come out soon though. I think next month. I think May is what I heard. So hype for that. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment. I mean, or a dislike. Any interaction with this video.
Not a dislike. Maybe not. Give us some grace, bro. We just started. Next podcast, I will have a better microphone.
A real microphone.
I ordered a microphone, and I won't be wearing this PS4 headset anymore. I'm going to change backgrounds and stuff.
And as soon as my money comes in, PayPal, I'm getting a new headset. So we're upgrading. You know, maybe Dylan will have a webcam too. Who knows?
I'm gonna buy a webcam because this webcam is laggy. And
yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, rating, whatever, subscribe down below. Check us out on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify if you would like to. And peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.